Hey, Ryan here, setthepacetriathlon.com, here with some notes because I can't remember everything off the top of my head. And we're going to talk about my comment. It's kind of corny, but what did the fatigue say to the tapering triathlete? Man, I'm tired. So I'm seeing this coming up, especially Ironman Tulsa is coming up May 23rd. So myself, probably after this week, a lot of our athletes, you're going to be facing a fatigue trough, is what I call it. So it's where you're doing your training, and in the absence of the higher load and higher intensities and full build, you start tapering or you start doing race prep with a little less intensity and a little less workload, and you find yourself more tired than potentially you were when you're doing your build phase. You know, those long 5-6 hour bike rides and 10, 15, 20-mile runs, and you get on Monday, but if you still did something active like a pool swim, usually you can kind of get through it and not be too big of a deal. But you might be a little bit tired. But it's an interesting thing if you take like a day off, you start reducing the workload. There's days, and I felt it, where you're just overwhelmed with fatigue. It's just you're dragging rear end, you're dragging ass, and you're walking around, you're tired, and you just don't know what happened. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not exactly a scientific term. It's kind of one that I made up because there's the adrenaline trough, which is a little bit different, but there's the fatigue trough. So like with adrenaline, you know, if you're scared, like you're riding your bike, you're running, a dog chases you or something like that, boom, adrenaline spikes, and that gives you that energy to either outrun them. You know, if you got to wrestle them down, or if you got to yell at them or something. Usually I'll yell at the loudest voice I can at dogs and stuff like that, and adrenaline kicks in, and I've never yelled louder in my life and more firm and just deep toned. But similar to adrenaline trough, you've got an adrenaline spike and you use it, and then when it's over and you don't need it anymore, boom, you plummet, you drain, no energy or anything, you just use it all. So the fatigue trough is a little bit kind of the same in my comparison. So it's when you're kind of running into either a recovery situation, maybe it's a post race, maybe it's the taper before a big race, and you're doing less intensity, you're doing less workload, you're doing less volume, and you're tapering into a race because you want to maximize that recovery, but you're not doing near as much workload as your body is used to doing. You know, my athletes and my training plans, I've got you cycled up and recover, cycle up, recover, cycle up, recover. So when you're at the highest peak, you got the highest you can, and you try to maintain that fitness in the race period. And that fitness is probably going to do just a little bit, 2 to 3 weeks into a full Ironman. But we want to get you as rested and recovered as possible without, maximizing your fitness into race day. So it's a very delicate tightrope walk. But we're lowering the intensity, we're lowering the volume. But keep in mind, so when you start doing that recovery, you start doing the taper, if you're feeling really tired, really drained for a few days, and the workouts are just kind of tough, and you're just, suddenly you can't do a 3-mile run without just feeling overworked and over fatigued, it's only temporary. So don't get bent out of shape. It should, once you kind of shift over into that recovery, into that taper phase, it should kind of relax itself, and energy should start coming back as you get recovered and rested and you're still working out your body. So it's only temporary. Keep that in mind. Resist the urge to go back to your old training habits. Don't think, oh, well, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do my high intensity rides. I'm going to do my power workouts and stuff. No, now's the time to taper. You want to do tempo workouts, nothing extreme. You want to let that recovery settle in, because you could be doing more damage than good if you go back and you're like, I don't like feeling this tired, so I'm going to ramp up my workouts and get that, the endorphin spike and all that other stuff, jack back up. Don't do it. Resist that temptation. Like I said, it's temporary, so you'll get through it. And if you are starting to feel better on the other side of the fatigue trough, when you're coming into the race phase and race prep and you're coming into taper, resist the urge. Okay, I got a 30-mile bike ride. Well, I feel great. I want to do 50 today because it's great weather. It's perfect. Don't do that. Don't go in there and do extra. Don't do extra miles on the run. Don't do extra miles on the bike. Do what your workout calls for. Make sure you're allowing yourself to recover. So resist stretching out your workouts any longer than they need to be. 2 to 3 weeks before a full Ironman, a half Ironman, if you get that fatigue and you're like, oh, it shakes you, it shakes your confidence a little bit, and you're like, I need to go do more workouts because I don't think I'm ready. I'm too tired, and let's ramp it back up and get back up to not feeling so tired and drained. 2 to 3 weeks out, all you can do is more harm than good. You're going to end up overtrained. It's better to be undertrained than overtrained, and it's better to be recovered than undertrained or overtrained. So make sure you're doing the proper thing. Don't get all bent out of shape, that 2 to 3 weeks before an Ironman, resist all temptation to go back and try to do extra work and get extra sessions in, and don't try to make up stuff that you missed training way back when in your intensity sessions and everything, and intensity intervals. Don't do that. So that 2 to 3 weeks, you can do more harm than good if you're going to go back and try to reverse engineer your fitness into race day. Use that extra time to sleep, to rest, to recover, to stretch, to foam roll, and everything like that. So you will have a little bit extra time with that fatigue, but use it to your advantage. Go through, stretch, recover, relax, do as much as you can to get your body back to as rested and recovered as possible. And during that time, prioritize nutrition and hydration. So if suddenly you're not working out as much, you're not doing as high intensity, you may not sweat as much, but you still need hydration throughout the day. Besides training, you need good nutrition, good hydration throughout the day. Training for Ironman is not a license to go out and eat all the crap food that you want. So just make sure that you prioritize nutrition and hydration. The last point I would leave you with is keep active. Resist the temptation of you're totally fatigued and tired to go and just all of a sudden not do anything and just sleep all day and just kind of sit around and skip workouts. Don't do that. Make sure you're doing something. Even if it's a 2 or 3 mile, just a tempo run, that's on your calendar, make sure you do it. It may not feel the best, but just be active. And that will definitely help get you through that fatigue trough and get you on the other side where you start feeling recovered and rested and ready for race day. So again, just wanted to talk about the fatigue trough. It's real. It's temporary. You get over it. Comes with tapering. So the tapering triathlete kind of mentality that comes out there, people kind of grumpy and stuff, that's where it comes from. So just be ready when you're tapering that fatigue dump is coming and it's real. So if you got any questions, put them in the comments. And otherwise, we'll talk to you later.